This is another one that fits. It's a couple days earlier. They're short here. They're about 12 to 13 foot normally. The big difference between these two are the root system. That has a much bigger root, but you can look at that ear. It's more flexed. This ear is more fixed. So this hybrid needs high pops to drive yield. It's every bit as big as that, and that one, you know, you can go with lower densities. I'm finding it on alkali ground, in where there's more lagoon water used, that the 5976 is tolerating those conditions better than this particular hybrid. Coming out of the ground, it's probably one of the best race horses out of the ground in the state of California. You plant 35,000 and 35,000 pop out of the ground pretty quick. So they all have, you know, some strengths and some weaknesses, and these are two different hybrids in the same maturity group that react differently for different soil types and different management styles. A couple of these right in here are brand new. I have never seen them here. We got the seed to Joey just on time to plant. They're, again, a little shorter here, but you can start looking at the grain contribution. There's a lot of grain. It's big, it's heavy. It's the lemony yellow, the high digestible starch types, and we're looking at these for early plant, double cropping, or late plant after some short season corns. A lot of guys are double cropping corn versus corn Milo or corn Sudan. There's more and more guys who are looking to pick up things on the back end, and these things, you know, because of the day lengths, they will not get the plant height, but you know, they'll drive starch in, and they'll drive quality into your forage. Now here you can see the difference in the grain. You look at that grain, this grain is not going to dent as much. It's got a heavier test weight on it. Again, another big penetrating root system. And you know, for me in corn production, roots are so critical to success at the end of the year. There's a lot of hybrids that grow big and tall, and they have very shallow root systems, and they don't uptake the nutrients that I think some of these advantages to these types of root systems, especially when you're spending the kind of money you're spending on inputs. Fertilizer's high, you know, NPK, they're all high. But you know, again, filled to the tip. These newer genetics, usually because of the ident backgrounds, react differently than the block of families that are over in that area. This is another new one. It's the GT series. It's got Roundup Ready, and it's got BT in it. This, again, you can see it's a little taller here. I seen it last week. It was about 13 foot tall. I've got it planted down south. It's about 13 foot tall. It's about 102-day silage. I'm looking at this to really shorten up my maturity for a triple crop situation. Big kernels, very soft, digestible starch. And then, you know, there's some earlier ones here that Stanislaus has been using. The 294 is being phased out. The 2924 is done well. And this is, again, another newer one. It's about a 90-day. It's about, you know, 18 to 20 kernel rows around, and again, they're pretty well filled to the tip.
These here are forage sorghums, and it's a hybrid between this one actually just straight sorghums for silage. So they're not grain types. This is one we've done a lot with. You're probably looking, this thing is way short. It's not very good. It's extremely thick in there. It's a BMR for one. It does have the brown midrib in it, as you can see, so it's higher digestibility, less lignin in this, so a lot better feed quality. And then it's a bacritic dwarf, which makes it small. What it does is just the collars in there, instead of lengthening out, they just stay together. So everything stays compact. You don't have any problems with lodging or anything like that. A ton of tillering, and it's just, it gets extremely good yield. You can get 2 cuttings out of this as well. Down south in particular, they have enough heat units, they can really get that. But up here, it's a little tougher. And this is a conventional sorghum, non-BMR. You can tell through the plant there, it doesn't have it. Little lower price point. This stuff is actually pretty cheap to plant per acre because you don't need very much. So it's a quick one. Yeah, they will put a grain head out. Just doesn't have the quality for grain. And then we're getting into our sorghum sedan, which is a cross between sorghums and sedans mixed. The Dynamo, more of BMR type. It's a wider leaf. looks like it's going to have excellent quality. Three-peat's something we've sold for a long time. I'm sorry, the Dynamo's over here. That's just a straight conventional one, as well as three-peat. We've had a lot of success with that. You can do a lot of the same things that Piper Sedan can, but as you can see, it's wider leaf. It's going to have better feed quality, a little extra tonnage. You can make hay out of it still. You just have to dry it down a little bit more than you will with the Piper. The Dynamo goes to more of, it's a BMR, that dwarf gene again, so a little bit shorter in its stature. And this is one, if you don't have enough time to go with the sorghums, go with these, because these, you know, they're ready to, we can get a cutting out of this now. It's 56 days today. So we can get a cutting out of this, and then you could get some more cuts. So pretty good yield. You can follow up your corn, you know, even planting it here in August, following these up with that, and you'll probably just get one cut then. You want to make sure you do it before frost and stuff, but you can get a cut out of those and make very good quality. Something new, the BMR Sedan grass. It's a straight Sedan with the BMR gene, so better quality feed than traditional Piper.
That Dynamo, we've been getting a lot of guys wanting to switch out corn, you know, because sorghum's so much cheaper to grow, and they have some poor fields that maybe they can't get a good corn yield. So they've been switching a lot to that 108 leafy, the straight sorghum. You know, you can still feed a little bit of that to your milk cows, but you'll never get the grain out of that like you would corn silage. So what I've been talking to guys is, you know, the same concept here, but this is a cross with the Sedan. And this Dynamo, you could even get that first cutting even a little earlier if you want. Get in that flag leaf stage, you know, 45 days. And you can get some real nice proteins out of it, maybe 15, 20% protein out of it. And that next cutting will come maybe the next 30 days, get another cutting. So if you plant it early enough, you can get 3 cuttings out of it. And protein's costing you just as much as starch in the ration right now. So, you know, if you got to take a cornfield out and you're thinking, hey, I want to get, you know, some forage in there with some high protein, you get real good fiber digestibility out of it. So I've been talking to guys more about this because you can switch out protein for starch in the ration this way. And I've been talking to guys in the Midwest. They've cut down the amount of hay they're feeding the ration by half by feeding this stuff. So it's something to consider if you've got a poor field out there that doesn't really do well for you on the corn. So,
well, that's a farm show for today, but we do appreciate you coming out and viewing in right now. We had a really good field day. We had a lot of interest, a lot of questions, and I think people learned a lot. Hopefully we answered all your things. If you need any more information, do not hesitate to call Stanislaus Farm Supply or visit our website, stanislausfarmsupply.com. I'm Joey Gonzalez, the Feed and Seed Sales Coordinator for Farm Supply, and I thank you for coming.